So I have a bit of a dilemma. You see this guy here? I really, really like him. But unfortunately, I'm just not his type physically. Now I know what you're thinking. Looks don't matter, it's all about your personality. That's not true, actually. Attractive people are found to go on more dates, they're seen as good-natured, which is known as the halo effect, and they're even more likely to be hired in job interviews. Clearly, we attribute some value to being attractive, and therefore, I want to be attractive. So, one day, while scrolling on my phone, I came across the solution, the world of Looksmaxxing. Now, for the older people in the audience, I'll explain what this term is. Looksmaxxing is a trend that has overtaken social media where individuals try to maximize their physical attractiveness in order to gain some type of social benefit or self-confidence. And in Looksmaxxing, there are certain features that are valued over others. For example, very sharp and angular jawlines and certain angles and proportions of your eyes. So this had me wondering, what makes a face more attractive than others? In this study, participants were given two versions of the same face and asked which face is more attractive. 75% of the time, participants chose the one on the right over the one on the left. And it turns out it was because this face is more average. The face on the right is 50% more average, while the face on the left is 25% more average. Now here, average doesn't refer to looking like meh, but it refers to a mathematical average. These faces are comprised of many different faces averaged together to create a composite. And we find this composite face to feel a lot more attractive than the original face. And this is known as the averaging effect. So, hypothetically, if I took my face here, and the way it is right now, and I averaged it among these three individuals, it should create a composite that looks more attractive than my original face. And that seems to be the case. But why? Why does this face seem more attractive to us? Well, it may not be a real indicator of beauty, but rather a byproduct of our cognitive biases. So, there are two main theories on how we categorize the world. One of them is the prototype theory. This is when we encounter new stimuli and we compare it to the internal average that we have for that category. And so it turns out that more average faces may be closer to our prototype of a face. And we tend to prefer objects that are closer to our prototypical average. This was seen in other categories as well, such as preferring more prototypical-looking dogs and prototypical-looking birds, just as often as we prefer more average-looking faces. Prototype theory also helps explain that when things are closer to our prototypical average, we categorize them at a much faster speed. And we see this with faces as well, with the more average face being categorized as human 4 to 5 milliseconds faster than the less average face, and this was a very consistent finding. So, because average faces are processed a lot faster and with much ease, they have something known as processing fluency. And oftentimes, we attribute this feeling of processing fluency to a feeling of familiarity. Even if we've never seen this composite of faces before, it feels familiar to us. And we like things that are familiar. We're attracted to them. And this is known as the mere exposure effect. So because this face feels familiar, we subsequently feel attraction towards it. So if I want to get my crush, I just got to make sure he sees my face all the time. Eventually, he'll become familiar with it and find me attractive. So at the end of the day, with trends like Looksmaxxing and where we're chasing after some kind of beauty standard, we're thinking of this ideal way to look. It's a prototype of beauty that is comprised of maybe the unrealistic things that we encounter in social media. And so if we all strive to look a certain way, we start to lose the features that make us individual and unique. So understanding that our perception of beauty might just be a byproduct of the way we view the world can help us realize that illusion of perfection. The beauty standard is constantly changing, and so chasing after that ideal can seem tiring and like an uphill battle where we lose ourselves in the process and we start to undervalue the things that make us unique. So it's probably just easier to embrace what makes you you. Thank you.